Madam Mayor, it's 6:01.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this Tuesday, December 3rd, regular City Commission meeting to order and ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Mayor Pam Triolo.
Here.
Vice Mayor Andy Amoroso.
Here.
Commissioner Scott Maxwell.
Here.
Commissioner Herman Robinson.
Here.
Commissioner Omari Hardy.
Here.
Thank you.
If everyone would please rise for the invocation and pledge. God of all creation, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are worthy of praise. You are the source of all that is good. You are the source of all our blessings. Thank you for every gift that we have been given. We thank you for the opportunity to come and gather together this day. We ask for your hand of blessing on this meeting. We ask that you would guide and direct our meeting so that it's full of wisdom, productivity, and respect for one another. Thank you for helping us to accomplish our work and our goals this day. Amen.
Amen.
Vice Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to say the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions, deletions, or reordering?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing
Not that I'm aware of.
Commissioner Robinson?
Well, I'd asked for just a conversation about a parking task force or something to get on a future agenda in regards to parking decisions in the future.
I'd ask that City Manager, would you
Can
take
we-
that into account?
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor,
Not for this evening.
not for this evening?
No.
Okay, I can then talk to each one of you about
That would be
some
fine.
concepts on that
Sometime in the near future.
in potentially January,
That's close.
but I have to get with the scheduling, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to presentations. An update of Highland Elementary School by Elena Villani. Come on down.
Hello again, everyone. Hello, Mayor Pam and Vice Mayor and Commissioners. I just wanted to also introduce my Regional Superintendent, Valerie Haynes, that is here with me this evening, and my administrative team, my Assistant Principal, Erin Walsh, Francis Fry, and my Single School Culture Coordinator, Carrie Mayone. So we're all here very excited to present all the wonderful things that are happening at Highland. If you can go ahead and play the first video. So this is what's cool about Highland. Don't you just love our world-drumming students? Welcome to Highland Elementary in Lake Worth, Florida. I am the proud principal, Elena Villani. What's cool about our school is that, number one, we have the best students in all of the state of Florida.
Welcome to Highland Elementary School!
We have a world drumming program, a band program, dual language. We take care of our environmental footprint with our recycling, green school efforts. We have amazing teachers and the best community that supports us in all of the U.S.
I like Highland Elementary School because everybody here is a great person and has good character.
They have the AVID program, which is going to make me have a good dream and go really far.
So much pride here at Highland. Thank you so much for visiting. So that's just a little sneak peek of all the great things that are happening each and every day at Highland. And just a little bit of a history for those of you who don't know where Highland is. We're right nestled in between A Street. The video was so good, I thought I'd play it again, and that's my presentation. Have a great day.
Encore.
So basically, we're right off of A Street in between 10th Avenue and Lake Worth Road. We're right around the corner from Lake Worth High. And what's really cool about Highland, too, is that Highland Elementary School was once underwater. and basically just eroded over time to form the top of a sand dune. And that's where Highland is now built. And so we have great nature walks across campus. A lot of times when we do our outdoor classrooms, our students will find seashells, and they'll still find things like that. That is always very exciting and fascinating for them. Highland was built in 1954, and then it was replaced in 1998. Okay, so some of our demographics, as you can see there, we are 73% Hispanic, 15% Black, 4% white, and 9% other. And within those programs, 96% of our students fall at the free and reduced lunch rate, which is basically they're either at or below the poverty level. 78% of our students are ELL, and not necessarily all Spanish speaking, but they'll speak some of the Mayan dialects, they'll speak Creole, and so we have a nice variety of different languages represented as they're acquiring the English language in our ELL program. We have 10% of our students that are students with disability, 6% of our students, which equals 64 students that are migrant, and then we do have 10% of our students, which is 110 students that are considered McKinney-Vento, which are part of that classification of being homeless. And so I broke it down a little bit further for you to be able to see that we have 3 students that are either in a transitional state shelter, 102 that are sharing housing, 3 that are reported. Now these are just what they have declared on their registration. There may be others that haven't disclosed this information, but 3 that are living in cars and 2 that are living in motels. We were rezoned this year, so last year we were just shy of 1,300 students. Right now we're sitting at 1,084. So we have been able to feel that relief. Now every class has their own classroom. We don't have, doubled up like when you came to visit our school. Now everybody has their own classroom, so it's really nice to see all the learning that's taking place. Our teacher demographics, this year, we actually only have 11 that are first-year teachers, so that's something that we're really excited about. And then we do have 16 of our teachers that are between their first and third year of teaching experience, 16 that are 4 to 7 years, and then we have 55% of our teachers that are over 8 years of experience. So that's something that we're very proud of at Highland. Our teachers stay. We do have transition, just like any other school. I have a large staff, so it always seems like we have a huge transition of teachers, but we are teachers that do have experience are coming to Highland. So there is that passion towards teaching children, and that's what we're attracting. We do have 14% of our staff that are reading endorsed. 55% of our teachers are prepared to teach students that are language acquisition, okay? So that's something that is also very important in our hiring process, and we do have 2 teachers that are nationally board certified, so thought I would highlight the 2 of them. This basically, in a nutshell, basically shows all the years of experience that we have throughout our different leadership positions. Our single school culture coordinator has 14 years of experience. You can see there our reading coach has 6. Our guidance counselor for ESOL has 29 years. Our ESOL teachers on average have about 12. Our coordinators have over 25 years experience. So as you can see, we do have a lot of experience that brings a lot of tools in their tool belt to be able to meet the needs of our students. Some of the highlights is, we have a dual language program that we're very, very proud of. It's K-5. It continues to grow each and every year. We have an AMP program, which is an advanced math class for our 5th graders who are now currently taking 6th grade math. So that's something that we're very excited about. We also have our VPK and Head Start program. So a lot of our students that are within our neighborhood that are starting from the age of 2, we're able to give them those early literacy experiences and behaviors, while they're listening to read alouds, that we're really engaging them in books in the classroom. And so they are eventually then matriculating into our kindergarten classes. We also have really a great culture and climate. You walk on Highland and you feel the joy and the excitement to be there. The kids are excited to be there. The staff is excited to be there. I'm overjoyed to be there. So it's something that we're all very excited and proud as we enter the campus. You don't see people dragging their feet, not even the kids. So it's something that we work very hard to continue to build and nurture. Our world-class music program is constantly, people are always reaching out to Mr. Fragile and Miss Bacher to have them perform. They perform at the street art festival here. Every time the Lake Worth Parade, every time that there's an event going on, our school always gets sought out for our kids to perform. So that's something that we're also very proud of. And our parent participation. I really don't struggle with trying to get parents to come. Every time I have a meeting, they may not know why they're there, but they come. And so while they're there, they're eager to learn. They're eager to see how they can better support their child at home. They're hungry, they're willing, and they show up. And that's something that is a big highlight for us. We also, for 2 years in a row, have been recognized as a Green School of Quality. And this year, we're working on getting our Green School of Excellence. We're working hard towards our Green School efforts, and that's something that where it's an everyday thing. Instead of, we did a Deer Day, which was drop everything and recycle. And we had all the kids go outside, and they came with their little gloves, and they picked up, and it was a lot of fun. So we did that. We also have incorporated a social emotional learning component into our fine arts and morning meetings. And basically, this is something that every time the children enter into the classroom first thing in the morning, they're greeted with a special greeting, and we're really working on helping their social emotional development. We have our ELL support. It traditionally is usually only in the reading classes. This year, we've been able to schedule it in our master schedule where we have ELL support. The teachers are going in and not only supporting in reading, but they're also supporting in math, and they're also supporting in science. And so we're seeing a lot of growth and improvement with our children acquiring the second language through this additional support that we have been able to factor into our scheduling. This year, I was able to add a science lab to our school. And so now kindergarten through 5th grade is part of the rotation, and they get to go to the science lab and they get to do science experiments. And that was also highlighted in the video that I just showed you before my presentation. And so the kids really look forward to going to the science lab. And when we had our character parade, our science lab teacher dressed up as Mrs. Frizzle. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with her, with the magic school bus and how she would dress up and take them on these little wild adventures. And so they were really excited to see her dress up like that. And we also have a school-based team and tiered support coordinator. And the role of this individual person is to make sure that children don't slip through the cracks. She's following up with the teachers, making sure that they're getting their interventions, making sure that it's being done with fidelity, and she's doing an excellent job as well. So that's something that is a highlight for us. As you can see, I'm not going to read the slide to you, but we have many partnerships and grants that we have been working with. FAU AIT this year specifically, that's a program where the teachers get to do their student teaching in the fall, and then automatically, assuming that all goes well, they get hired and they get to stay. So they have a mentor through FAU, and then they have, a mentor that we provide for them at the school. And we had 2 this year, and both of them I hired. So they were excellent, and we're really excited about that. The programs that that I mentioned last year, the Guatemalan Mayan Center, Bridges, Adopt a Family. We have our 21st Century, the Rotary Club, Latinos in Action. This year, they started to come in and work with our kindergarten students. They mentor them this year. And so you have all these middle schoolers coming to Highland once a week to work with our kindergarteners. And they absolutely love it. A lot of them are even alumni, if you want to call an elementary student an alumni. We have the Pew Grant. Teamwork USA really funds our music program. So they provide for every single one of our students to have a musical instrument. And so in addition to them being part of the music program, they don't have to spend money renting an instrument. They pay for all of that. They also pay for tutors to come and give one-on-one lessons to our students during the school day. So it's an excellent grant that we also take advantage of. The Ventus Charitable Foundation helps us a lot with our summer slide program. And that really encourages to have our rising 3rd graders to come in and try to close that that slide so that when they do get to 3rd grade, they have a better opportunity to be able to pass the FSA and not be a part of that mandatory retention. So that's some of the highlights of that. Some of the barriers that we face is, like I was saying, the teacher retention is always still something that we struggle with because even though I said we have very few, brand new teachers, it's still something that every time you get a new teacher, you got to start from scratch. So even if it's just one, that's a lot, So we continue to work on that. We have a lot of high number of newcomers. Just this week alone, I registered 10 new students that have never been in the U.S., that are new to the country. And so these are things that we face every single day. They're coming into our classrooms. They have no prior schooling. They don't even have any type of, they don't know English. They may not be literate in their language. Now, that's not all of them, but a big bulk of our students that every week we have a bunch of new students that are registering. It's a transient population, as you know. It's just the nature of our community, but we continue to work as best as we can with that. But our students are thriving and our teachers are very dedicated. So I'm very confident that despite some of the challenges and the barriers that we face with some of our students, they're still expected to be successful and making success unavoidable for each and every one of them. Our absences aren't really that bad this year. The district has a new initiative where we're sending postcards home, we're doing call outs. Every time the children have a certain amount of absences, it's a different level of intervention. So right now, students with 10 or more absences, I'm only at 2.8%. It's not that it's only, because 2.8 is still high, but in comparison to previous years, that is a great place to be at right now. And students that have 2 or more early warning indicators, that means they have excessive absences or they're below grade level or things like that, I'm still at 36%. So we're working on bringing that number down, but that's where we are with that. Opportunities for growth is, our oral language and vocabulary development. We do a lot of work around that, and that's why we shifted a little bit our English language learner program to make sure that our students are getting all of the things that they need. Our explicit planning, we have our professional learning communities where we're working very closely with the teachers to make sure that we're being very explicit that the rigor in the lessons are there, that we're teaching to the level of the standard, and we're not watering it down because we either feel sorry for the children. We don't want to love them to a level 1. We want to love them to success, right? And so this is something that we're working very closely with. But in addition to that, we're working with the parents. And like I said, the parents do come, and the fact that we are working with them and giving them the skills, they're able to then support and understand what it is that the children are doing every single day at school. So I'm excited to say that, remember last year I told you we needed a certain amount of points to be able to get to be an A school, but we got 3 of all of our points, and so we didn't go down. So 3 points is 3 points. I'm going to run with my 3 points. We're going to continue to work towards our points. We did have a drop in some of our areas, but we have analyzed the data with a fine-tooth comb, and we're really confident that the programs that we have in place are really going to show a significant jump in our data. So some of our wish lists, I know Mayor Pam, you had mentioned for us to share with you some of our wish lists. So petty, number 1, we would like 5 wireless mics. So we have a lot of our concerts, a lot of the times the kids, you can't really hear them from the back, and so they get a little disappointed after all their hard work. So we were just hoping, not that you would buy it for us, but just put the word out there if anybody wants to donate 5 cordless microphones. Every Friday we pop popcorn as a fundraiser for our safety patrol, and we get to raise a lot of money. Any given Friday we'll raise like over $300, but that's every dollar is a bag of popcorn. So we need help with being able to bag the popcorn, pop them, and get them distributed to all the students that bought the popcorn. So we're always looking for volunteers, as well as to have mentors come out, on a consistent basis, so that, because our kids are so, they fall in love with everybody who gives them a little bit of attention, right? And so whenever we want mentoring, we want them, they look forward to that person coming. So we would just really like for someone to be able to be consistent so they can have that role model for themselves and always have that one thing to look forward to, even if it's just to have lunch with them, once a week, and be able to just kind of chat about how things are going and how their learning is progressing in the classroom. We're always looking for donations for our positive behavior system. That's something that we're really growing and improving this year. We're trying to get these banners printed, so we were just wondering if there was any collaboration or organizations that works together with the city that would be willing to help us out with getting these vinyl posters printed, as well as, I know we talked about during our last educators meeting, we talked about the artists coming and painting murals. We would love that. You had asked if we were, and we do. The other thing, to volunteer in the cafeteria, of course. Kindergarten could always use help opening up those milk containers. And to read aloud to the kids, especially during Literacy Week. Commissioner Hardy came, and he had a great time reading to some of the kids. They were asking him all sorts of questions about music, and they had a lot of connections, so that was nice. They're still talking about when he came. They kept saying the president. When the president came and read to us, and so just so you know, they're waiting for you to come back.
I made it.
Where's the president?
Quit your campaign. You're good. You've made it to the presidency at Highland. And the last thing is that we are fundraising towards a marquee. Our marquee is off of 7th, right off of Highland Avenue. We wanted to have a marquee on A Street where we would be able to really promote all the great things that we're doing at Highland, to get a lot more support from the community. And we're just working towards a marquee. So we're always just, spreading the word that we're hoping to raise enough money for a marquee. And last but not least, I want to leave you with a video that shows you how we're also building the social emotional aspect of our students.
Let's go to positive energy. Hands out, hands together. All right? We want to improve every day so we can get smarter.
Smarter is something I can get. Smarter is something I can get. Smarter is something I can get.
You can't get
So we're really, and then just the next slide. We're working really hard to build the entire child. It's not just about reading and writing, but also building their inner self and their confidence. And so we truly believe that all students will achieve. So we encourage you all to, if you ever have any 2 minutes to come and volunteer at Highland, our doors are always open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hardy, did you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, thank you for coming here, and thank you and your whole team for being as committed as you guys are to educating our kids. It's a job that can be challenging, but it's a job that you've chosen to do. And we're very happy that you guys chose to educate our children here in Lake Worth. We're about as lucky as we can be in that respect. So thank you, and thank your team and all your teachers there
Yes.
as well, the janitors, everybody, the people who serve lunch. It's just fantastic. I had a question about retentions. So it said, maybe I didn't read this. Yeah, 13.5% have already been retained
Yes.
at one time. Okay. What's behind that, I guess?
I mean, in a
I
nutshell.
guess could you provide us just some insight for those of us who might not be?
Sure. So in a nutshell, it really boils down to our third grade mandatory retention due to the FSA. So any student that scores a level 1 on the Florida State Assessment is required to be retained. But there's many opportunities for them to be promoted, in which we work very diligently with.
They get a portfolio?
So they have a portfolio is one opportunity. They also get to go to summer school. They have an opportunity to retake the exam. So there's many chances and a lot of ways we're able to do that. But in addition to that, you also have the students that have been here for less than 2 years that they meet good cause. So there's different components in which they can meet good cause. If you don't meet any of those things, then you are required to be retained.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that to me. And on teacher retention, which you said was an issue. For those who are not aware, there is and it's not just your school.
No.
It is a district-wide,
Teacher shortage.
statewide teacher shortage.
Correct.
And what I'll say is that's what happens when you pay teachers. In the state of Florida, 46th in the country in teacher pay. That puts us 4th from the bottom, even though we're the 3rd largest state. In our metro areas, South Florida, I-4 corridor, it's as expensive to live here as it is to live in nearly any other metro area in the United States, excepting maybe San Francisco, especially when you adjust for wages, which are not, we don't make New York, Boston wages here in Florida. So it's not just for context, it's not just Highland. This is a statewide problem.
That is correct. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. So thank you guys again.
I just want to say thank you too. Your energy level is infectious.
Yeah, that's the word I was going to use.
Knowing that you're overseeing our kids at Highland is just very reassuring. And thank you to your team and all the teachers and everybody that works so hard at Highland.
Yes.
We really, really appreciate having you here.
Thank you.
Commissioner
And
Robinson.
it must be infectious to the staff too, and
Yes.
your other teachers. And the expectation
Yes.
is great to see. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't use it.
Up next, I'm coming down for this one. This is a big one.
Oh, sorry.
We have our proclamations. And the first one up is our proclamation for James Barrow. Get all official. Okay.
Walt's got a
Okay.
haircut.
There's a bunch of whereases and stuff, but we'll let Well, tell the real stories. Whereas James E. Barrow started his employment as a lineman in the city of Lake Worth Beach on May 21st, 1986, worked hard for the city, and retired as a line foreman on September 19th of this 2019. And whereas over the years, James has shown his dedication to his job here in Lake Worth Beach, doing his day-to-day assignments, as well as his work during many hurricanes, such as Andrew, Francis, Jean, Wilma, Irma, Michael, and more. Whereas James has always been a steady, dependable co-worker and friend who took pride in his work and in his community, and was always ready to lend a helping hand when needed. And whereas James' daily presence is missed by his co-workers already, who have over the years benefited from his knowledge, his leadership, and also his calmness in the face of all the challenges presented to him, and the city of Lake Worth Beach is a better place for having people like him as an employee of this great city. Now, therefore, I, Pam Triolo, Mayor of the city of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby recognize James Barrow for his 33 years of service and ask only that he enjoy his retirement for at least that many more years. In recognition of 33 years
Check
of
that out.
dedicated service to the city of Lake Worth Beach, 5/21/86, 9/19/2019, James E.
What is it?
This is a lineman's hook. This is what they put on their legs when they're climbing the poles.
So it's not quite as, it's
How
not
do you
glittery
plan a
and
fascia?
whatever, but I think it gets the job done a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, the roast.
So I've known Jimmy many years.
Speak into the microphone, please.
I've known Jimmy many years. When
I know.
Jimmy finally came to me after at least 1,000th time and told me that he was going to retire. 43-year career as a lineman. 33 of them with the city, giving service to the city of Lake Worth Beach and her residents. I was moved sadly. I was sadly moved. Jimmy had been here with the city for 10 years already when I started my career here. In fact, he had started his career as a lineman 10 years earlier than that, chasing storms as a contractor. And through it all, times of hardship and recession, from our normal daily afternoon storms through all the hurricanes, including the dreaded 04-05 season of 28 named storms, he has always been someone the electric utility and I could rely on. Now, Jimmy may not know this, but I was able to get my hands on his very first appraisal report from his first foreman he ever worked for. I've taken the liberty to take a couple bullets from there. Bullet number 1, Jimmy has delusions of adequacy. Bullet number 2, he would be out of his depth in a parking lot puddle. Bullet number 3, somewhere there's a village being deprived of its idiot. Bullet number 4, his men would follow him anywhere, but only out of morbid curiosity. Now, the statements I just made are nowhere near the truth. Jimmy has imparted old school knowledge and expertise into me, and I thank him every day for that. I have to say that coming to work, knowing Jimmy would be here with a smile on his face, no matter what the situation was, has made many a tough day worthwhile. Jimmy has been an inspiration and a role model to all our younger linemen, and his replacement has some very large, or in Jimmy's case, very small shoes to fill. As with all of us in this trade, although our hearts and souls are still strong, our hips, knees, and ankles are screaming at us from hooking the poles for so long, telling us to stop. So on behalf of the City of Lake Worth Beach and our residents, the City of Lake Worth Beach Electric, and from me personally, I wish Jimmy all the best in his retirement. We hope he has a long and peaceful rest and spends some time with loved ones and does everything he wants to do with his time off. All the best, Jimmy, and thank you for the 33 years of continuous hard work. It's time for you to hang up your hooks. That's why he's retiring, because he can't hook the concrete pole no more.
Okay. Moving on to our next presentation, proclamation declaring December 1st, 2019 as World AIDS Day. Is there anyone here for the proclamation? Come on up.
Come on up.
Come on up.
Thank you.
No, I'll pass mine along. Thank you. Oh, here you go.
Thank you.
Thanks,
thank
Dylan.
you.
Thank you so much.
You good? Oh, I'm trying to put this on now. Whereas more than 36.7 million people are currently living with HIV/AIDS worldwide, with an estimated 1.8 million new infections occurring each year, or about 5,000 new infections every day. And whereas worldwide, 25% of people infected don't know their status, and only 59% of persons who are living with HIV are currently accessing life-saving antiretroviral therapy. And whereas the global spread of HIV infection and AIDS necessitates a worldwide effort to increase communication, education, and action to stop the spread of HIV. And whereas the Joint United Nations Program on HIV/AIDS observes December 1st of each year as World AIDS Day, leading and inspiring the world to achieve its shared vision of zero new HIV infections, zero discrimination, and zero AIDS-related deaths. And whereas the 90-90-90 ambitious global plan to help end the AIDS epidemic has set its targets for 2020, that 90% of all will know their HIV status, 90% of all people with diagnosed HIV will receive sustained ART, and 90% of all people receiving ART will have viral suppression. And whereas in Palm Beach County, more than 8,500 persons are living with HIV, and about one new infection occurs every day. And the Palm Beach County HIV Community Prevention Partnership and the Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, through its partners, are working together now to renew HIV/AIDS awareness and to expand and strengthen the local effort to stop the spread of HIV in Palm Beach County on World AIDS Day. Now, therefore, I, Pam Triolo, Mayor of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim December 2019 as World AIDS Day.
Maybe.
And ribbon, and a kiss.
Kisses.
It's the Italian
Maybe a little bit about the kill.
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you all so much. The city of Lake Worth Beach has been amazing for Compass, and y'all have always had our back with everything. Say what?
Vice versa.
Oh yeah, we help each other. It's great. So for the next 2 weeks, we're actually going to have up 24 panels from the Names Project AIDS Memorial Quilt on display over at Compass. If anyone wants to come and see the quilt, it's an amazing piece of art. And then we also have a programming that's happening throughout the next 2 weeks to bring awareness to HIV and AIDS and help eliminate the stigma. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 6, Commission Liaison Reports and Comments. Want to start with Commissioner Robinson?
Just wish everybody the happiest of holidays. Hope Thanksgiving was meaningful. I want to mention Tim Rice lost, the guy's left, but he was a community involved person and is no longer with us. I want to thank Captain Bear and Mike, our city manager, and the mayor, and William Waters for code department for getting involved in trying to make a difference and improvements in the South Palm Park neighborhood and South Federal Highway. And looking forward to good development on South Federal. Looking forward to the Christmas parade, street painting, and the new year. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
A few things. So in April, I challenged the tree board and the staff 200 trees by 2020. I got something late this afternoon from staff, and it looks like for the 2020, we're already at 375 trees, 218 shade trees, and 157 palm trees. So we've gone well over our 200 trees by 2020. So thank you, tree board and staff, and all our partners for helping that happen. Couple ongoing things. Farmers Market is now open every Saturday. Bonfires at the beach are back. There will be a night market for your early holiday shopping needs, December 12th, starting at 6 p.m. Holiday parade is December 14th. We'll have the regular festivities all day long with the bike giveaway. And if anybody is looking to donate bikes, City Rec Department will take either cash or bikes, new bikes. We always try to have at least 100 bikes to give away. And we'll have to try to get an update for the next meeting on where we are with that. Tree lighting was fabulous. I think we've had our biggest crowd yet. They come out to see the mayor and her wand light the tree. So that was great. Thanks for all who came out. I attended the Palm Beach County League of Cities board meeting and luncheon. I also attended the National League of Cities. Always mention the 2020 census is coming up soon. Please make sure that you fill out your 2020 census. Big birthday out to Greg Rice, and always remembering John Rice on this day. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Hardy?
Sure, thank you. So this update is almost exclusively housing related. The first thing, so I serve on the Housing Leadership Council, Palm Beach County. One of the things we did was we conducted a survey of teachers, asking them questions about their housing situation. So we sent it out to many thousands of teachers. We got about 1,400 responses. And it basically shows kind of what we already know. Teachers are having a very difficult time, not only affording rental housing, but affording, getting to that point of home ownership. And it's one of the reasons, when you look at it across the state, school districts are typically the largest employers in their respective counties. It is here in Palm Beach County. And so when the largest group of employees for the largest group of employers are not able to afford housing, you're going to have a problem. So what we did after we did the survey, we focus grouped them. And some of them are from this area. Had many concerns about we won't get into that, but it was just very depressing. So like most teachers have issues saving up for a down payment to buy a home, and the amount of down payment assistance that's available to folks here in the county, it's just not enough. And so I've said it before, I'll say it again. We don't have enough affordable housing, even in Lake Worth. I recognize that our rents here, our home prices here are cheaper than they are in other cities, but they're still not affordable to a great many people. And so I'm just going to continue to stress whatever we can do to bring more affordable housing to the city. I would be very much for. So I sit on this committee for Adopted Family of the Palm Beaches related to the 3rd Avenue Homes project that is nearing completion right now. And it's been a very interesting discussion trying to figure out, there are 14 housing units. How do you choose which 14 families out of the many families, right, will be able to receive the benefit of those affordable homes and also the wraparound services that Adopted Family will be providing? I actually sit on that committee with Principal Villani and with Erica Whitfield, who's on the school board. Some very interesting issues. I cannot wait till we get those families in there. And we're really creating a sense of closeness between the school, folks who provide affordable housing and the community at large. Some housing policy issues and things coming up for the next legislative session. So I brought forward the issue of ADUs, which went nowhere here. But there's a bill in the Senate. Travis Hudson has a bill related to housing, many things. But one of the things in the bill would basically require local governments to allow ADUs in all residential areas. This is something that I've said before. I would not be surprised if cities were preempted on this issue. There are folks who feel that cities should unleash the free market when it comes to housing, and that's something that Travis Hudson, Senator Hudson, feels. Also in that bill is not allowing cities and counties to charge impact fees for affordable housing development. So again, there are folks in the legislature and folks generally who feel that cities can do more to make housing less expensive, and we're seeing that. Sadowski. Last year, Palm Beach County was supposed to get $17 million in affordable housing trust funds. Last year, we got $2 million in affordable housing trust funds. Why? Because the legislature sweeps money from the affordable housing trust fund and use it for other purposes. Sweep is a nice word for steal. Last year was Governor DeSantis' first year. He has been very supportive of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. He is supportive again. Our executive director, Suzanne Cabrera, met with him. He's very supportive. The difficulty, as usual, is with the Florida House. And that helps Lake Worth. So let's hope that we get full funding. The last thing that affects us, Community Land Trust, is looking at every single city where there is supposed to be a Tri-Rail Coastal Link station, and that includes us. Why? Because they expect that if or when Tri-Rail Coastal Link stations are built, that there will be gentrification in the area around the Coastal Link. So the community land trusts are buying land around the Coastal Link to ensure that some of the housing that's there around these stations will remain affordable in perpetuity. Obviously, we were slated to have a Coastal Link station right there. They're looking at us. They have a $5 million grant from JP Morgan, and any partnerships that we can make with the Community Land Trust to develop more affordable housing, I'll be very much for. So that's it. That's pretty much it. So yeah.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll keep it short and brief and light. First of all, I want to know where the heck did you get that magic wand of yours from lighting the tree the other night? That was pretty cool.
The North Pole.
What were you doing at the North Pole?
She was a good girl.
You got connections. Anyway, it was a really nice tree lighting ceremony. I know it's already been mentioned here tonight, but there was a heck of a crowd, and we are blessed to have one of the best Santa Clauses around, and he's not even in the audience today, is he? No, I don't see him. So he must be really tired, but he did a really great job. So the next time anybody sees Marshall pass, please. Did I give it away?
Say that out loud.
Oh, man.
Next time you see Santa Claus.
All right. Anyway, he did a great job, Marshall, wherever you are. Thank you so very much again this year. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I know I ate way too much, but I was able to avoid the turkey because we had ham as well. So nobody saw me skip over the turkey. But it was great. I hope you all had a great time with your family and friends, and everybody that you wanted to be with was there. Again, the Christmas parade is coming up 2 Saturdays from now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I hope that you all come out. I still think that we've got one of the best Christmas parades in South Florida. It gets bigger and bigger every year. And I don't know how city staff and everybody does it, but kudos to you. Also, what else did I want to say? That's about it. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, however you celebrate the holidays. I hope they're very happy and healthy and festive for you, and a Happy New Year. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. TPA, we've got a meeting. We've had a lot of workshops and stuff. TPA is the former MPO. Spent a lot of time basically kind of separating the TPA from the county, so to speak. I guess that's sort of the way it goes. The TPA was pretty much over under the county's kind of operation, and now it's basically the organization that utilizes all the dollars that filter down through the state to be spent in our cities for transportation. And there's been a lot of debate back and forth over how much money gets spent to fix actual roads or build actual roads, and how much money can be used to create alternatives to traditional roads and roadscapes and whatnot, more bike lanes, more, different types of projects, greenways, different types of things. So the cities now, the county still remains members to the same amount of people on it, but it's now sort of a separate entity that is represented by all of us cities that are involved in it, and the county, and everyone together making these decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. It's a different way, and we're sort of adapting to that, and adapting and spending a lot of our meeting times adapting the rules to help regulate this new organization and move forward with things. Also, the long-term transportation plans. And there's a lot of hoo-ha going on about impact fees from the county level. And that's been a big discussion that's been going on. A lot of cities and towns screaming over the last decades as to impact fees that go for any development that happens within our communities. Money gets sent out to the county. And we don't have, these types of fees here for the city. So the city that's actually affected by these projects, is not retaining any funds, but the county is getting funds for the eventual projects that will someday come through this county, which most of them never do. I think, how many projects have we had? Boutwell Road was our biggest project to date. And then prior to that, probably not anything that I can consider that was of any real value. So they have a couple projects in there, some of which haven't been vetted even by us, that were mentioned. So we've got a lot of discussions on hand for that. We've got a special meeting coming up about the long-range transportation plan, not this week, but next week. So I'll be there, and I'll be able to give you the skinny on that. Thank you to everyone who came out to the tree lighting. It was fun, as always. Yes, this year I came packing the most amazing magic wand ever known to mankind that was actually fueled by the power of the children. And when it lit, it was ready to light the tree. We had a lot of fun. I love the kids, and it's just a fun time for the families and everybody out there. So I would encourage everyone to please come on out to the holiday parade. It's such a good time, and really, if you've never been to one before, we do it better than anybody else. Not we, the city, but the community does it better than anybody else, and it's just so much fun and so heartwarming, and part of what living in this city that feels like a town is all about. And so I encourage you, please come on out and bring your families and friends and enjoy our shops and keep it local if you can. Try to eat local, shop local, and all of the above, because we know the families that run these places, and you do too. They're your neighbors. So thank you all so very much. Have a happy, healthy, and beautiful holiday season, and a blessed and prosperous new year. Thanks. Okay, moving on to public participation of non-agenda items and consent agenda items. First up, Cheryl Rashkin. Second, Todd Townsend. And then Ramsey McLeod.
Sorry, it takes me a couple minutes.
That's okay.
Cheryl Rashkin. I live on South Palm Way, but I'm here tonight as the president of South Palm Park Neighborhood Association. We are having our this coming Saturday at 6:30 p.m., the lighting of the median on South Palm Way. It goes from 5th Avenue South all the way down to 18th Avenue South. And we're enticing all of our neighbors. In fact, while I was sitting here, I got notices from two of them that we've kind of shamed into adding lights into the median, into their homes, so that we are going to be well lit with the hopes of seeing the entire neighborhood from the space station this year. So we're really working. It's really great, and we hope you all come out and enjoy yourselves. Mayor, I'm sorry this year you can't be our judge, but you can still come out and enjoy the golf cart ride with us, because the neighbors all enjoyed it last year. We decided to do something different this year, and that is just to have our prominent home that's the best decorated. So you might be included in that judging. So thank you again. But from South Palm Park, we wish for everyone in the community to please come out and enjoy themselves. It's going to be a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Todd Townsend?
You don't know? Press release.
Hey everybody, good to see everybody. Hope everybody's having a nice set of holidays. Just a couple of quick things real quick because I know I only got 2 minutes. People need to stop where we are and take a look back at Thanksgiving. I have a lot of friends. I used to live in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I have a lot of friends who go to Plymouth Rock every year as a silent protest for what's happened to people, especially the indigenous people of this continent. So yeah, be happy and enjoy your Thanksgiving, but let's take a step back and look and see what's happened to the people that have been pushed down. So that was a cool thing for me to say. So the second thing is we don't need a parking guru for Lake Worth because he's going to say, let's put in meters so that I can get my $50,000 a year, right? I mean, we just got done firing a bunch of people right before they got their chance to live the high life after a lifetime of service for the city. So essentially, we need a one-story parking garage behind all of the businesses from the theater down to and including Federal Highway, so that there's a ramp onto every street, which is going to alleviate the traffic on J Street. I live on J Street. I'm looking if a big construction gets built there with a 3 or 4 tier parking garage. That's going to end up in front of my house. I'm not interested in that. I know I can get a lot of other people from J Street to do something about that if that should get closer. So I'm really hoping that you can look at a one-story parking garage back there. It's the best situation. The last thing is, before the beeper goes, is we don't want a hotel built at the beach in the sand. We know that people have been working on such a project, and we think it's a very bad idea. We would like to build a beach visitor center with an observation tower at Lake Worth. When you travel around to foreign countries and different places, you want to go to that high place. They've got these high places marked out for you to go and look down and look over the whole place. Let's do ours. We've got the Atlantic Ocean. Let's build something that everybody can go up on top and look out over and enjoy. And if you just look back at, what's his name? Emerson, he'll outline why that's good. It's like medicine. So that's it. Everybody have a nice Christmas, and we'll see you sometime soon.
Thank you. Ramsey McLeod?
Good evening, Ramsey McLeod, 24 South C Street. I'm here again as the president for the Royal Poinciana Neighborhood Association, and again, requesting someone here on the dais to respond to our concerns. Last time I was here at the presentation, Madam Mayor, you requested a private meeting with me. I've not heard from you or your staff since then. Mr. Bornstein, I raised several issues. I was hoping someone from the staff would reach out, at least address some of our concerns, give us some insights, give us some heads up of what time delays are going to be. I've heard from no one in the city with any of our concerns. We, again, our roads supposedly were fixed. You've created greater traffic issues and concerns and problems for trucks and vehicles on the roadways, our pedestrians moving about, and our bicyclists being safe. No one's come out and looked at the roads. I discussed the Fifth Avenue Greenway project. No one's done anything. No one's talked to the citizens. No one's come and done any work on any of the driveways. The debris that's leaking off the driveways in the streets and on the sidewalks, it's not been cleaned up. It's not been addressed. So the only thing I did observe being done, someone came by in a truck with some remilled asphalt and they threw it on parts of the streets that were dug up. And that was a few weeks ago. So of course that material is pretty much gone. And 2 of the fire hydrants that had black bags on them now have labeled bags on them that indicates they're not operational. However, the one at Fifth Avenue on the Greenway, near the fence that was in the pictures, still is not bagged. We don't know if it's operational or not. So that concern still hasn't been addressed. So we are open, we're receptive. We want to have a dialogue with the city. We want to feel that at least when we bring our concerns, someone is giving it some validity and considering the citizens' concern about what's going on in our neighborhoods, how we're being treated, how the services of the city are being fiscally responsibly handled. And we do have concerns about how the money's being invested. or poorly invested in our area. So we are still open and hoping for some feedback from the city and to begin to open a dialogue so we can all get on the same page and be communicating in the right way, not just hearing air and not listening to what a citizen is trying to tell you what we do need, not what you think we want. Thank you so much. Have a nice holiday.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hardy, second.
Second.
Seconded by the Vice Mayor. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Let's move on to our public hearings. This is item 10A. City Attorney, would you read the ordinance, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2019-10 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, calling for a referendum of the qualified electors of the City of Lake Worth Beach to be held on March 17, 2020, as to whether Article 2, Section 3 of the City of Lake Worth Beach Charter, entitled City-Owned Property East of the A1A roadway, shall be amended to allow for a lease of up to 30 years, providing for notice and advertising of the referendum, providing for referendum canvassing, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for repeal of all conflicting laws, providing for an effective date.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
This is a second reading for all the next 5 items, so we've had full discussion on all of them. If you have anything to add to that, please let me know. If not, let's go to the vote. Do you have any public comment cards on this?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Again, a second reading on this ordinance, item B. City Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2019-12, the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, calling for a referendum of the qualified electors of the City of Lake Worth Beach to be held on March 17, 2020, as to whether Article 2, Section 4 of the City of Lake Worth Beach Charter, entitled Sale of Parks, City-Owned Waterfront Property, and City-Owned Downtown Property only by referendum, shall be amended to allow for a lease of up to 30 years, providing for notice and advertising of the referendum, providing for referendum canvassing, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for repeal of all conflicting laws, and providing for an effective date.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second. Do we have any public comment cards?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none? Sorry,
Before you call the vote, can I provide some comments? This is the second ballot question that regards waterfront property on the west side of the city, which was one of the items that y'all asked to bring forward. Adopting this would send this to the supervisor election to put on the ballot in March. In the polling, there were some concerns that was expressed to y'all in our one-on-one meetings about this not polling favorably, and it might not be something that you would want to put on the ballot in March, that it might need some more work or not to do it all at this time. I think the motion currently reflects actually putting it on the ballot and not keeping it off. If y'all have any questions of me on that issue, I'd be happy to answer those.
Commissioner Robinson?
Would we have the opportunity to, again, put it on November?
You have the opportunity. Our window right now is for the March 17th presidential preference is where these will go if you launch them at this point. This one, I wouldn't recommend to move forward for that ballot. If you do want to reconsider it later in the year, you have that opportunity. Yes, Commissioner.
So we can do it twice. We can put the same question out twice.
In talking with the consultants, this one may actually hurt the one you just approved by having them both on the ballot. So there were some concerns that launching it, knowing that it didn't poll well, people don't feel comfortable moving forward with it, wasn't recommended.
Commissioner Hardy?
I just wanted to make sure y'all were aware of that issue.
Sure. At this time, I'll withdraw my motion. And I'll make a motion to postpone.
I need to have the second, whoever seconded it.
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay.
And I'll make a motion to postpone to the December 13th
12th.
meeting. The 12th?
Yes, sir.
Meeting? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I just I'd like to talk with the pollster.
Yes.
Second.
Second. Any public comment cards?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Moving on to item C. This is again second reading. This is ordinance number 2019-11. City Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2019-11 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, calling for a referendum of the qualified electors of the City of Lake Worth Beach to be held on March 17, 2020, as to whether to extend the lease term to allow Palm Beach County to manage the Jules Steinhardt Cove for a total term of 99 years, providing requisite ballot language for submission to the voters, providing for a severability clause, providing that conflicting ordinances are repealed, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item D, City Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2019-13 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, repealing the 2001 design guidelines for Old Town Historic District and major thoroughfares in its entirety, amending Chapter 23, Land Development Regulations, Article 2, Administration, Division 3, Permits, Section 23.2-31, Site Design Qualitative Standards, and several sections of Article 3, Zoning Districts, to remove all references to the major thoroughfare guidelines from the Code of Ordinances and providing for the adoption of new major thoroughfare guidelines by resolution, providing for severability, the repeal of laws in conflict, codification, and an effective date.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved, seconded by the Vice Mayor Pro Tem. Moved by Commissioner Hardy, seconded by the Vice Mayor Pro Tem. Are there any public comment cards?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item E, City Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2019-14, an ordinance of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 23, Land Development Regulations, Article 2, Administration, Division 3, Permits, Section 23.2-33 of the City of Lake Worth Sustainable Bonus Incentive Program to comply with the city's comprehensive plan and by amending Section 23.2-35, Development of Significant Impact, to increase review thresholds by amending Article 3, Zoning Districts, Division 6, Plan Development, Section 23.3-25, Plan Development District, to include a Transfer Development Rights Program by amending Article 4, Development Standards, Section 23.4-13, Medium and High Intensity Conditional Uses, to eliminate lot size requirements in industrial manufacturing facilities and creating regulations for recycling facilities and for other purposes, and providing for severability, the repeal of laws and conflicts, codification, and an effective date.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hardy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Are there any public comment cards?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Moving on to new business, item 12A. It's resolution number 66-2019, adoption of a new major thoroughfare design guideline to replace the 2001 major thoroughfare design guidelines.
So moved.
Second. Do you have any public comment cards?
No, Madam Mayor.
Seeing there are none,
I just,
any discussion?
I am
Commissioner Robinson?
like the idea of consistency, and I just if we can make some good ordinances and guidelines and go with them and see what the results are. We seem to be rewriting for good, but I don't want to have an impression that we're changing it every year. That's all. I'm in favor of it.
Well, last time we changed it was 2001, so.
It's been tweaked.
Okay. We've got a motion on the floor in a second. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. 12B is an ordinance, and City Attorney, you need to read it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ordinance number 2019-16 of the City of Lake Worth Beach, Florida, calling for a referendum of the qualified electors of the City of Lake Worth Beach to be held on March 17, 2020, as to whether Article 4, Section 11 of the City of Lake Worth Beach Charter, entitled Building Height Limitations, shall be amended to allow a maximum height limitation of 87 feet, which matches the height of the historic Gulfstream Hotel, instead of 65 feet, for those properties located north of First Avenue South, south of Lake Avenue, east of South Lakeside Drive, and west of South Gulfview Road, and as more specifically described herein, providing for notice and advertising of the referendum, providing for referendum canvassing, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for repeal of all conflicting laws, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Moved by the Commissioner Hardy, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Questions, Commissioner Hardy?
I'm very pleased that it polled as well as it did. So I think it's essential that we move forward with this.
With,
Commissioner Robinson?
with the exact wording as is? I think we could make it more palatable if we just said not to exceed the existing heights, period.
Commissioner, hold on a second. City Manager, did you want to go?
Since this is first reading, moving to second reading and adoption on the 12th, and hopefully, as we were coordinating to have the consultant here, if there's any questions about some of the details, that might be a good time to ask that. That doesn't preclude you for going ahead and voting on this motion to move it to the second hearing.
Commissioner Hardy?
No, I agree with that.
We've got a motion and a second. I have a public comment card from Lynn Anderson. I don't have your card. You're up next then.
Good evening, Lynn Anderson, 2204 Lake Osborne Drive. When the people had their referendum several years ago, and we won by 56% of the vote on heights in the downtown, you all refused to send the results to Tallahassee because there was a rumor at the time that Rick Scott was going to sign a law that would make it moot. And so 3 months later, that law came up. It was HB 537. And so, and Glenn Baby, he's not here tonight, unfortunately, and, you know, didn't allow our vote to go through. So HB 537, it prohibits an initiative or referendum process in regard to comprehensive plan amendments and map amendments that affect more than 5 parcels of land, and limited to the city charter provision in effect on June 1st, 2011. So I want to know, because I really am confused about this, how is this ordinance affecting that block down there where the Gulf Stream is located, an exception to this law? You'll be changing our charter, and that's what we were doing in 2013. Even the Palm Beach Post at that time challenged your decision that went against the people. So I'm really confused how this is any different than what we were trying to achieve. So basically, I guess what I want to say, I want to close with this and say the only one ballot question that I would like to see coming up in March are term limits. And I really think the whole city would turn out for that. Thank you.
Commissioner Hardy? Oh, I'm sorry, Todd. I forgot. Your phantom card.
Hi, Todd Townsend, 502 South J Street, addressing you again. I think that this spot right behind the hotel there is a great spot to obviously build a hotel, and I think that that building is going to be like this. We're trying to join our beach to our town, right? That's why we don't want to build a hotel out there and put a lot of shops and crazy stuff out there, because that's going to take everything away from the town. We want to marry the beach and the town. So personally, I think that the new hotel should actually be able to go very high, maybe a little bit higher than the Gulf Stream, because it's probably going to need a parking garage underneath it, and there's really not a lot of space to work with. And again, if you've got some really beautiful tall building in the middle of the beach and the town that has some sort of really artistic look on the top of it, I think that it should be allowed to go even a little bit higher than the Gulf Stream so that we can really see, you know. When I go to Boston, I see the Prue building. When I go to New York City, I see this. When I go to Paris, I see this, I see that. It's all about joining the beach to the town. So that's it. Thanks.
Commissioner Hardy?
Yeah, I just want the attorney, if she can, read the bounds for this again.
Sure. The boundaries are north of First Avenue South, south of Lake Avenue, then east of South Lakeside Drive, and west of South Gulfview Road.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Got a motion on the floor and a second. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We're going to move on. City Attorney, do you have a report?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
City Manager?
No, Madam Mayor.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn after we wish everyone a very happy again, healthy, safe and joyful holiday season. Shall we adjourn?
Everybody Saturday night for the lighting on South Parkway.
Wait,
Yes.
Can we adjourn?
Yes.
Yes.
Votes and motions.
Motion.
Second.
So moved.
There we go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The motion was made by Commissioner Hardy. It was seconded by the Vice Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you.